Undertale's OST is one of the best in the industry, there's no doubt about it. Sure, you've got your Persona games, or your Mario games, or your Final Fantasy games, or any of those franchises, but it's hard to avidly capture the charm of making music for a little 16-bit RPG using basic FL Studio and some Earthbound sound fonts. And it's all thanks to this guy, Toby Fox, who's also very lenient about the way his work is used. As someone whose internet career started from making Earthbound ROM hacks, he understands the importance of fan works in maintaining the vitality of a video game community. And that brings us to today, with one of the biggest Undertale fan games ever made, Undertale Yellow. Undertale Yellow is a fan-made prequel to Undertale. It was in development for 7 years and was released in December of 2023, with immediate popularity within the Undertale community, which was fairly obvious for such a long-awaited project. Being a free fan game, which was essentially the same length as Undertale, while also capturing the same atmosphere and level of writing quality, while still introducing new puzzles, characters, and mechanics, is a massive triumph for the development team of Undertale Yellow. The fact that they even made an entirely new OST for the game, consisting of around 135 tracks, is astounding. However, the music is indeed the main focus of this video. As you'd expect from a fan game, a lot of Yellow's music utilizes melodies from Undertale. For example, the Yellow track Enemy Approaching is clearly a remix of the Undertale track of the same name. While you could argue that this sort of derivative content might be in breach of some sort of copyright or fair use rule, remember that remixes and covers of Undertale songs are perfectly fine on YouTube. Furthermore, it must be noted that Toby Fox has stated in 2022 that any problems with copyright on platforms like YouTube should be disputed and resolved, indicating that he is fine with people using his music however they want. But I guess Toby's message from mid-2022 still hasn't reached his music rights distributors, because they're still stirring trouble at the very end of 2023. On a side note, this video will mainly be about a single man who has caused a big hassle for the community. However, while he may have some opinions that you dislike, harassment or threats is never a justifiable response to a disagreement on the internet, so don't do that. On January 21st of 2024, the official Undertale Yellow Twitter account made a tweet about how they had to eradicate 100 tracks off the OST, that only the remaining 35 were currently available to be streamed on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and YouTube. While the wording of the tweet made it sound like something terrible had happened, Master Sword Remix, the director of Yellow, clarified that it was just a joke and that they would be releasing the rest of the OST at a later date. But for some reason, this random joke tweet ended up being the cause of the most bizarre and unprompted Twitter argument I've ever witnessed. But first, let's set the scene. This is Sebastian Wolff. He is the CEO of Materia Music, the company which manages the music rights for the Undertale and Deltarune OSTs. In the several years since Undertale and Deltarune have been released, YouTubers have struggled a bit with having their videos demonetized due to containing copyright music, though they are usually fixed largely in light of that Toby Fox tweet I mentioned earlier. More recently, however, some content creators, such as the YouTuber CiblesGD, have been having trouble with their videos being flagged for containing Undertale music, and any appeal not coming back with any positive change, despite what Toby Fox had said. Cibles has already made a video in which she detailed her personal experiences with Materia's copyright system, which I highly recommend you watch, but I'll give a brief rundown. Cibles streamed Undertale Yellow on 2 separate days and edited both stream VODs together into a single video. She already knew that she might face copyright troubles, but she thought they only extended to her stream VODs rather than her uploaded videos. However, when she was uploading her video, it was flagged for demonetization because the Undertale Yellow battle music contained leitmotifs from Enemy Approaching. Cibles directly contacted Materia Music to speed up the appeal process. However, despite clear and pleasant communication with the company, the copyright claim stood and Cibles' video remained demonetized. Any requests made by Cibles for more information were met with radio silence. Luckily, since Cibles had 2 different copies of the Yellow video uploaded to her channel, an unedited one, and one in which she tried to remove the battle theme but was still rejected, Materia Music inexplicably decided to deny the appeal of one of them and then accept the other, meaning Cibles ended up getting monetization on her video in a pointless roundabout way anyway. Victory, I guess? Anyway, this establishes that Materia Music isn't exactly the most reliable company for helping out with copyright problems. About 9 hours after the Undertale Yellow tweet about the 35 songs on streaming platforms, Sebastian Wolff himself, who, mind you, is the CEO of Materia Music, decided to respond directly to the Undertale Yellow Twitter account and explain why the fan game was in direct breach of copyright. What? Why? Wolff details how apparently using the name or logo of Undertale is trademarked and copyrighted, and using either without a license is considered copyright infringement, and that the Undertale Yellow soundtrack would require a trademark and asset usage license for the Undertale logo on the art, mechanical license for the cover songs, derivative work licenses for the reimaginings of Toby's melodies, and am I boring you yet? Jokes aside, the bottom line was basically that Wolff believes that Undertale Yellow should have either paid for a license to use Undertale assets, or asked Toby Fox, or his license holding companies like Materia Music, for explicit permission to use said assets. And he said all of this in an 8-tweet thread, responding to a joke tweet about the music. I think this is the biggest who asked moment to ever grace the internet. Obviously, there's a lot to refute here, but the most fantastic thing is that all of it can be easily debunked with a single image. Remember that tweet where Toby Fox explicitly stated that he is fully willing to fix copyright problems regarding any of his music? You know, showing that he is perfectly fine with the use of his music in any video on YouTube, especially playthroughs? So all that nonsense about licensing and asking for permission means ultimately nothing, because a year and a half ago Toby had already given everyone the full thumbs up to use his music however they wanted. And Wolff literally admitted at the top of his thread that he doesn't speak for Toby Fox. Oh, you don't speak for Toby, the person who owns the music? Then why speak at all? As you'd expect, Wolff began receiving immense backlash for this thread by people who easily picked apart his arguments, and a lot of prominent figures in the Undertale community also spoke out against Wolff. Obviously, Cibles was very critical, as she had been royally screwed over by his company, posting at length about her issues with how they handled her situation. However, despite Wolff seeming perfectly content to argue with other people in his replies, he did not respond to Cibles specifically for some reason. Eventually, Cibles found that Wolff had actually acknowledged what she said, by adding another line to the company's FAQ page stating that claims on Fangame playthroughs would remain. How professional. Others, like speedrunner Shay, have had some very choice words to say to him as well, pointing out additional contradictions in the Materia website guidelines regarding the manual review process and the degree to which the company could enforce copyright on content creators. Another person entrenched in the Undertale community, Alex Beckham, more well known as Man on the Internet, has also expressed his own reluctance to make lyrical covers or even livestream a playthrough of Undertale Yellow due to fear of encountering these same copyright issues. Overall, this whole situation did not shine a very positive light on Mr. Sebastian Wolff, and it's clear why. His whole thread makes him look like a whiny baby who decided to bring a discussion which could have easily happened in private onto a public social media platform. And remember, this man is the CEO of a decently sized company. If he saw Undertale Yellow as such a big problem, this chief executive officer should have, I don't know, brought it up with Toby Fox first, instead of embarrassing himself and ruining his own and his own company's reputation. And that's not even mentioning the fact that he claims that he will donate $10,000 to the Undertale Yellow dev team if they can provide proof of clearly defined permission from Toby Fox 7 years ago when the project began, which shows that Wolff is a fairly irresponsible person to even consider tweeting a gamble like this to an audience of rabid fans that he had just aggravated. Side note, a lot of people mentioned it, so I will do so too. It is hilarious that this guy's name is Sebastian Wolff, and he's at odds with Toby Fox. Just thought it was funny. Moving on. On the 3rd of January 2024, the Undertale Yellow Twitter account posted a statement regarding the copyright situation. It reads, "As you may know, recently Undertale Yellow was at the forefront of a discussion around music copyright. This was an unexpected event, but we wanted to clear things up as soon as possible, do right by the rules, and put an end to copyright claims on UTY-related content. Since then, we have been in talks behind the scenes to resolve these issues. Thanks to the cooperation and hard work of Toby Fox and Materia Collective, any YouTube claim that occurs can now be disputed and released, much like how Undertale's music works." A few hours later, Wolff also made a Twitter post in direct response to Undertale Yellow, which, while not explicitly naming the topic of the tweet, is very obviously what he's talking about. He claimed that he had received bomb threats throughout his disagreement with the team, which is obviously a very, very bad thing to do, and a lot of his detractors understandably sympathized with him. Reminded that however much you disagree with anyone on the internet, making threats against their life is never ever a valid thing to do. Anyway, In his video about the situation, Cibles mentioned that with Materia Music's stance of changing their FAQ page whenever they want, it's possible that every other use of Undertale soundtrack, such as background music for video essays or covers and remixes, could also be at risk of being flagged by the YouTube algorithm in the future. Materia Music has essentially all the power and have proven that they will blatantly disobey Toby Fox whenever they feel like it. You know how Undertale Yellow's statement said that they were putting an end to copyright claims on Yellow related content? Well, I guess this was just a one-off deal because the Materia FAQ still says that claims on Fangames will remain. It's clear that Materia Music is still digging an even deeper grave for themselves, as they have recently updated their FAQ once again to say that the information on the page may not be fully true or accurate at any given time, and warns that they may change the contents of the page at any given time. What innocent company would add that to their company page in the middle of a controversy? Fortunately, it seems like the story of Undertale Yellow's soundtrack has at least reached a relatively happy ending. However, the fact that Materia Music's YouTube FAQ page still claims that anything on the page is subject to change and that Fangame footage can still be claimed is very sinister and a very bad look on the company as a whole. We'll just have to see what happens in the future. Obviously, another statement by Toby Fox could easily clear everything up. However, as of this video, Toby still hasn't released a public statement about the situation, and it's unlikely that he ever will, seeing as the main dispute being discussed, Undertale Yellow, has already been resolved. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.